The sky over New York City was clear and blue. Children played in the parks, people walked to work, and cars moved in slow streams along the streets. The human colonies had lived in peace for over 100 years. It was a time people liked to call the Age of Calm. For many, the galaxy seemed far away, and no one thought the galaxy would ever notice Earth. In an underground station below Manhattan, Ethan Cole worked quietly on the energy lines. He had been assigned to repair old circuits that kept the city alive during power surges. He was a quiet man, with dark hair and kind eyes. He liked to fix things, small things, that made life work. He had no interest in politics or war. Far above the city, in orbit, Olivia Hart observed the solar system from the Lunar Defense Base. She was calm and sharp. Her job was simple: watch for anything unusual near Earth. The base was small, only a few hundred officers, but they were trained to respond to emergencies. Olivia looked at the instruments every day, but nothing ever happened back on Mars. Jackson Blake walked through a hidden colony in the caves of Olympus Mons. The colony was small and secret. Jackson was a strong man, respected by everyone there. He taught survival skills and military training in case the humans ever needed it. He never thought they would need it soon. Then, without warning, the sky changed. The blue above New York did not change, but all channels across the galaxy went dark. Suddenly, a new broadcast appeared. The voice was cold, metallic, and strong. It spoke in perfect English, but the words were impossible to believe. "Humans," the voice said, "your species is now obsolete. Your existence will end immediately." People in New York stared at their screens. People across the solar system froze. Ethan felt his hands go cold as he looked at a small screen in the station. The message repeated in every language, in every channel. The Galactic Empire had arrived. Then the broadcast showed the fleet. Massive ships, black as shadows, appeared in orbit. They were thousands of times larger than anything humans had built. Each ship carried weapons that could destroy cities in minutes. The fleet moved silently, perfectly, toward Earth. People ran in panic. In Central Park, families tried to leave the city, but the streets were already crowded. The sky darkened as the fleet passed overhead. Silence fell. It was the calm before a storm no one could survive. And then it began. The first blast hit New York. The air shook, buildings crumbled, and the ground opened like it wanted to swallow people. Ethan held onto a pipe in the underground station, watching the city above disappear in fire. Smoke filled the streets, screaming filled the air, and people ran in every direction. There was no way to escape. Olivia watched from the lunar base. She could see the Empire ships through telescopes. She could see Earth burning in every major city. She wanted to call for help, but communications were already blocked by the fleet. She realized that no help would come in time. The Empire was killing billions, and no one could stop them. On Mars, Jackson watched the skies. He had always feared this day, but he had never imagined it would come so soon. Colonies were burning. Messages from other stations showed the same horror. Humans were dying in millions, then billions. It seemed like the galaxy watched silently as the human race fell. The broadcast did not stop. The Empire wanted everyone to see it. Every screen across the galaxy showed burning cities, falling towers, and screaming people. They showed ships dropping bombs in human colonies on Mars, Jupiter's moons, and even small settlements near Saturn. The number of dead climbed faster than anyone could count. In New York, Ethan crawled through the underground tunnels. He could hear buildings collapse above. He saw people trapped in the streets, trying to find safety. He wanted to help, but there was no way. He decided to survive. If he could survive, maybe he could help others later. Olivia organized what she could from the lunar base. She gathered a small group of officers and told them to evacuate the base. She gave them supplies, weapons, and instructions. They would try to escape to hidden stations, far from the Empire's sight. She knew the Empire would not stop. They were killing everything. Jackson activated secret alarms in Mars caves. He called the small colonies to hide and prepare. He sent scouts to collect information about the Empire fleet. He wanted to understand the enemy. The Empire had shown its power, Now humans needed a plan to survive. Across the solar system, human survivors ran, hid, and tried to escape. The Empire ships were faster than anything humans had. Orbital bombardments destroyed cities before people could evacuate. Billions of humans were dead within hours. The galaxy watched, but none interfered. Alien empires that humans thought were friends did nothing. They only saw the humans die. Ethan found a small group of survivors under Manhattan. Children, mothers, and old men looked at him with wide eyes. They did not speak. They were in shock. Ethan led them deeper into the tunnels. He told them to be quiet, to hide, and to survive. The world above was gone. Olivia guided her team to a secret escape pod on the far side of the moon. They launched into the dark space, hoping the Empire would not see them. She looked at the dying Earth below. She felt anger, sorrow, and determination. Humanity would not end like this, she thought. Jackson gathered the surviving Mars colonists in a hidden base beneath the red sand. He spoke to them quietly but firmly. "We are still here," he said. "They can kill billions, but they cannot kill all of us. We will fight back. We will survive." The Empire broadcast ended with a message: humans were extinct. The galaxy was meant to believe that all humans were dead, but in small pockets, humans survived. Under New York, on the moon, in Mars caves, in hidden colonies across the solar system, humanity breathed, counted survivors, and began to think about revenge. Ethan helped the children sleep in a small underground room. He gave them water and food from the station. He told them stories of human history, of courage and survival. They listened quietly. He promised them that humans would survive, that the Empire would learn that humanity could not be erased. Olivia and her team found a small asteroid base to hide. She contacted other survivors secretly, using old communication satellites. She learned that many humans were still alive in different systems. They were few, but they were alive. She began to plan a network of survivors, a hidden flame that would one day grow to challenge the Empire. Jackson studied the Empire ships from Mars caves. He took notes, drew maps, and trained the young men and women who had survived the first attack. He told them that humans had to learn to move fast, to fight smart, and to never surrender. He called it Operation Alien Extinct. It was not just revenge. It was survival. The galaxy had watched the fall of humans in live broadcast. It had seen 10 billion die. The Empire had shown its strength. It thought humans were finished, but the survivors did not think so. Ethan, Olivia, and Jackson knew that even in the smallest hidden places, humanity had begun to rise. The Empire had destroyed cities, but it had not destroyed the spirit of human survival. The story of revenge, resistance, and hope had begun in silence, in underground stations, in lunar bases, and in the caves of Mars. For the first time since the attack, Ethan looked at the dark sky through a small tunnel opening. He saw the stars and whispered to himself, "We are still here. We will not die quietly." And somewhere in the hidden parts of the solar system, Olivia and Jackson heard similar words echo in their hearts. Humanity was gone from the surface, but it was not gone from the galaxy. It was only the beginning. The age of calm had ended. The age of survival had begun. The first few days after the Empire's attack were full of fear. Survivors moved in silence, hiding in tunnels, caves, and abandoned stations. Every sound could mean danger. Every shadow could be a scout from the Empire. Yet in this fear, humans began to gather. They realized survival alone was not enough. They needed to work together. Ethan Cole led the small group from New York through abandoned subway tunnels. He found old storage rooms with water, food, and medical supplies. He taught the children and adults to clean the water and ration food. He repaired old power lines to light small areas. Each small success gave the survivors hope. Olivia Hart moved quietly on the asteroid base she had found. She contacted other humans using old satellites and secret codes. She discovered small pockets of survivors on the Moon, Mars, and the outer colonies near Jupiter. She realized that scattered humans could be united. If they could communicate and share knowledge, they could survive longer and plan for something bigger. On Mars, Jackson Blake had grown into a leader quickly. He organized the hidden colonies, teaching people to hide and defend themselves. He trained them in simple weapons, in building traps, and in moving silently. Jackson knew that the Empire would hunt them, so the humans had to be smarter, faster, and quieter. He called his group the Silent Flame. It was not just a name. It was a promise that humans would continue to exist even if hidden. Ethan discovered a hidden vault below New York, an old experimental military site. It had weapons, armor, and small ships that humans had designed long ago but never used. Most were outdated, but Ethan realized they could be repaired and used cleverly. He began working with small teams to restore the devices, creating the first step of a plan humans did not yet fully understand. Olivia found survivors on a small moon of Saturn. They were weak, hungry, and frightened, but alive. She taught them to work together, to create small farms, and to recycle water. She showed them how to hide from Imperial drones and patrols. Each small colony she helped became stronger, more organized, and ready to fight back. Jackson received messages from Ethan and Olivia. They shared information about the Empire's fleet, their weapons, and their movements. Together, they realized that humans had a chance. The Empire had power, but it also had weaknesses. The human mind was clever, and humans could think faster than the Empire expected. The Silent Flame began small strikes. Young men and women trained to sneak near Empire supply lines. They planted small explosives, stole fuel, and destroyed communication relays. No one was killed in these early strikes. The goal was simple: confuse the Empire and learn its patterns. Ethan built a device that could cut through the Empire's shields using synchronized energy waves. It was unstable at first, but it worked for short periods. He showed it to Olivia and Jackson in a secret meeting on a hidden asteroid. They understood immediately that this device could change everything. It could give humans a chance to strike powerful targets that no one thought possible. Olivia led a small team to test the device. They attacked an Empire listening post on a moon near Jupiter. The shields fell, the drones stopped, and humans retrieved valuable data. They learned about fleet movements, weak points, and even plans for future attacks. For the first time since the massacre, humans felt hope. Jackson called a council of survivors from different colonies. There were men and women, engineers and soldiers, children who had survived the attack. He told them clearly, the Empire thinks humans are finished. They are wrong. They will never erase us. We will strike back. We will survive. Operation Alien Extinct begins now. The council agreed. They were not a large army, but they had courage, knowledge, and determination. They divided into teams: scouts, engineers, fighters, and strategists. Each group had a clear task. Each group understood that failure could mean death, but survival was worth the risk. The first big mission was to sabotage an Imperial supply route near Saturn. Ethan's team used old mining ships, repaired and reinforced, to sneak into the path of Imperial cargo ships. They planted explosives and retreated quietly. When the cargo was destroyed, the Empire lost a large amount of fuel and food. Humans cheered quietly in their hidden stations. Small victories mattered. Olivia organized a training camp on a distant asteroid. Young survivors learned to fight in space suits, to handle weapons, and to move in zero gravity. They learned to repair ships and hide from sensors. The Silent Flame grew stronger with each passing day. It was no longer just a survival group. It was a rising force. Jackson studied the Empire's movements carefully. He realized they planned another broadcast, this time to show the galaxy that all surviving humans were gone. It would be worse than the first massacre because the Empire wanted to erase hope. Jackson knew they had to act before the Empire could finish their plan. Humans began to think differently. They were no longer just running and hiding. They were learning, adapting, and planning. Ethan worked with engineers to build small stealth ships. Olivia trained fighters to attack and retreat quickly. Jackson coordinated missions from Mars caves. Every strike was calculated. Every movement was careful. One night, Ethan and a small group traveled to a hidden Imperial relay station. The Empire thought it was secure. Humans disabled communication lines, collected data, and returned safely. The Empire was confused. They could not understand how humans were still alive. Every time they sent a fleet to hunt survivors, humans had already moved out in another mission. Olivia's team rescued survivors trapped on a destroyed moon base. They carried injured humans in small ships, repaired equipment, and left no trace. Humans were learning to work together in ways the Empire never expected. Jackson gave a speech to the Silent Flame one evening in the Mars caves. "We have survived the first attack. We have stolen from the Empire. We have learned their weaknesses. They think we are finished. They are wrong. Operation Alien Extinct is not just revenge. It is survival. We will rise from the ashes, and one day, the Empire will regret ever attacking us." For the first time, humans in the Silent Flame smiled. Fear was still there, but courage was growing. Hope was not a dream. It was real. Small colonies across the solar system began sending messages to each other. Humans shared food, water, weapons, and information. They built a hidden network that could not be destroyed easily. Ethan repaired old computers to store data about the Empire. Olivia coordinated secret communications across thousands of kilometers. Jackson trained hundreds in strategy, sabotage, and survival. Together, they formed a hidden human intelligence network. The Empire had power, but humans had brains, courage, and determination. The Empire began to notice. Commanders reported to each other that humans were attacking supply lines, disappearing before fleets arrived, and stealing important data. They were frustrated and confused. No one could find the source of these attacks. The Empire did not expect humans to survive, let alone strike back. The Silent Flame grew stronger with each day. Small missions became bolder. Humans captured Imperial scouts and learned about future attacks. They repaired old ships and built new weapons. They were no longer just survivors. They were a hidden army, moving in the shadows, preparing for the day they could strike the Empire directly. One evening, Ethan looked at the stars from a small moon base. He thought about the billions who had died, the Empire's cruelty, and the long path ahead. Yet he felt hope. Humans had survived when the Empire wanted them gone. Humans had struck back. They had learned, adapted, and planned out. Olivia joined him, looking at the same stars. "We are not finished," she said. "The Empire thinks they are the strongest. They do not know what humans are capable of." Ethan nodded. They were tired, but determined. The Silent Flame was alive, and humanity would not be erased. Jackson trained fighters in the caves below Mars. He prepared them for the first major coordinated strike against the Empire. He told them, "We are small now, but one day, we will be the storm they never saw coming. Operation Alien Extinct is the beginning. We will make sure humanity survives, no matter what." The solar system was quiet. But beneath the surface, humans were preparing. Scattered survivors had learned to fight, to hide, and to strike. The Empire had power, but humans had courage, intelligence, and determination. They had begun to rise, and the galaxy would soon see that humanity could not be destroyed. Ethan, Olivia, and Jackson knew that the first days after the Empire attack were only the beginning. Humans had survived the impossible. Humans had struck back in small ways, and humans had begun to unite. The Silent Flame was no longer just an idea. It was real. It was alive. And it was ready to grow. The Empire thought humanity was gone. But humans were already planning the first real counterattack. They would strike not just to survive, but to send a message to the galaxy. Humans would not die quietly. Operation Alien Extinct had begun. The Silent Flame had grown stronger. Humans were no longer scattered survivors hiding in fear. They had learned to move, to fight, and to strike without being seen. Small teams traveled through asteroid belts, hidden mining stations, and secret caves across the solar system. Each team had a clear mission: learn, survive, and prepare to fight back. Ethan Cole worked day and night on his shield-breaking device. He had built smaller versions that could disable Imperial shields temporarily. Now he was designing a larger version that could break the shields of bigger ships. It was difficult and dangerous work. One wrong calculation could destroy the entire device, or worse, kill the team testing it. Olivia Hart trained human fighters on a distant asteroid base. She taught them how to fight in zero gravity, how to move silently in spacesuits, and how to repair ships in difficult conditions. Her team learned to anticipate Empire patrols and strike before being detected. Every small victory gave the humans more courage and confidence. Jackson Blake studied the Empire from Mars caves. He had scouts and spies across the solar system. They reported fleet movements, supply routes, and weak points. Jackson realized that the Empire's strength was its numbers and technology, but their weakness was their reliance on order. Humans could strike fast and disappear. Humans could think in ways the Empire could not predict. The first real Shadow War began near Saturn. A small fleet of humans, led by Olivia, attacked an Empire convoy carrying weapons and fuel. The convoy was large and guarded, but humans had prepared. They used old mining ships, repaired and modified, to sneak past the patrols. Ethan's device disabled the shields of the convoy, allowing humans to destroy key ships. The Empire lost fuel, weapons, and resources. The humans returned to hidden bases safely. This victory inspired the Silent Flame. Humans across the solar system started small raids. They attacked communication relays, supply lines, and scouting ships. Each mission was precise, carefully planned, and executed quickly. The Empire could not understand how humans were still alive, and how they could strike with such efficiency. Ethan tested the larger shield-breaking device on a hidden platform near Jupiter. The device hummed with energy, glowing as it synchronized with the energy of the surrounding area. A small training ship was used as a test. When the device activated, the ship's protective shields dropped completely. The human engineers cheered quietly. This device could turn the tide if used correctly. Olivia and her team carried out reconnaissance missions deep in Empire territory. They gathered information about fleet positions, patrol schedules, and weapon types. Every piece of information was sent back to Jackson on Mars. He analyzed it carefully, looking for patterns and weaknesses. The humans were learning faster than the Empire expected. One day, a captured Imperial officer was brought to Mars caves. He was confused and angry, but the humans treated him carefully. Jackson questioned him about the Empire's next moves. The officer revealed a terrible truth. The Empire planned another broadcast to show that every human alive had been destroyed. They wanted the galaxy to believe humanity was finished. Jackson called a council meeting with Ethan, Olivia, and leaders from other hidden colonies. They want to erase hope, he said. We cannot let them do this. We need to strike before they can finish their broadcast. The council agreed. They began planning an attack on the Empire's main relay hub, a station that controlled communications across several star systems. Preparing for the mission was difficult. Humans had limited resources, small ships, and inexperienced fighters. Yet they also had determination, cleverness, and unity. Olivia trained the assault teams, teaching them to move quickly and strike without being seen. Ethan completed the shield-breaking device, ready for the first real test. Jackson coordinated the movements of every human fleet, ensuring timing was perfect. The day of the attack arrived. Small human fleets moved through asteroid belts, past hidden patrols, and toward the Imperial relay hub. Tension was high. Every person knew that failure could mean death, but success could change the future. Ethan activated the shield-breaking device for the first time in battle. A pulse of energy spread, and the shields around the relay hub disappeared. The humans struck quickly, disabling the station's systems and gathering data. The Empire was stunned. They could not understand how humans were still alive or how they could attack the relay hub so effectively. Fleets were sent to chase the humans, but each time, humans vanished before contact. Small strikes continued across the solar system. The Empire's supply lines were disrupted, communication relays destroyed, and patrols ambushed. Jackson led a mission to capture an Empire scout ship. The ship contained valuable information about future attacks and fleet positions. The humans studied the data carefully, learning which ships were vulnerable, which patrols could be avoided, and when the Empire would strike next. Each piece of information made the humans stronger. Humans also learned to use the Empire's technology against them. Captured drones were reprogrammed to spy, deliver messages, and sabotage Empire installations. Small teams carried out stealth attacks that the Empire could not predict. Humans had become clever, adaptable, and dangerous. Olivia trained a group of young fighters to infiltrate an Empire base. On a moon near Saturn, they moved silently through tunnels, avoided guards, and planted explosives to destroy fuel supplies. The mission was a success. The Empire lost a large fuel depot, delaying attacks across several systems. Humans celebrated quietly. Each small victory mattered. Ethan continued to improve the shield-breaking device. He built smaller, mobile versions that could be mounted on ships for quick attacks. These devices allowed humans to strike fast, disable enemy shields, and escape before being noticed. The Empire's fleets were powerful, but they were no match for clever humans using unexpected strategies. Jackson gave a speech to hidden colonies across the solar system. The Empire thinks we are finished, he said. They are wrong. We have survived. We have struck back. We have learned their weaknesses. We will continue to fight. Operation Alien Extinct has begun. One day, the Empire will regret ever attacking humanity. Humans began to understand a new truth. They did not need to match the Empire in numbers or size. They needed to be smarter, faster, and more united. Each raid, each mission, each strike was a lesson. Humans learned to anticipate Empire movements, to strike unexpectedly, and to disappear before retaliation. The Empire's broadcasts had been meant to scare the galaxy. But now humans sent their own messages. Small transmissions, disguised as emergency signals, showed that humans were still alive. Aliens across the galaxy began to notice that humanity had survived. Some feared humans. Some wanted to help quietly. The galaxy's perception of humanity was changing. On Mars, Jackson worked late into the night. Scouts returned with reports of Empire movements. Ethan monitored energy readings from shield-breaking devices. Olivia trained fighters on asteroid bases. The human network was growing stronger, more organized, and more confident. The Silent Flame was no longer a small group. It was a rising force across the solar system. The first major strike against the Empire's main relay hub had shown humans that victory was possible. They were no longer hiding just to survive. They were striking to teach the Empire a lesson. The Shadow War had begun, and humans had learned that cleverness, courage, and determination could challenge even the most powerful force in the galaxy. Ethan, looking at the stars from a hidden moon base, thought about the billions who had died in the first attack. The Empire had believed humans were finished. Yet here they were, striking back, learning, and surviving. Humanity had grown stronger from the ashes. Olivia checked the status of all human teams. Fighters were ready. Engineers were repairing ships. Scouts were gathering information. The humans were ready for the next step. They would strike deeper into Empire territory, learning more about the enemy and preparing for the day they could challenge the Empire completely. Jackson trained a new group of fighters. He told them, "We are the survivors. The Empire wants to erase us, but they cannot. We are clever, fast, and united. Every strike, every mission, every victory makes us stronger. The galaxy will see that humans cannot be destroyed." Humans across the solar system prepared for more missions. Small teams moved silently, striking the Empire in unexpected places. They disabled communications, destroyed supply lines, and captured scouts. The Empire was powerful, but humans had learned to fight in ways the Empire could not predict. Ethan completed the final improvements to the shield-breaking device. Olivia coordinated multiple strike teams. Jackson studied Empire weaknesses and planned future attacks. The Shadow War was fully underway, and humans were winning small battles that would eventually lead to a greater victory. The Empire still had massive fleets, powerful weapons, and control of many systems. But humans had courage, intelligence, and determination. Each strike in the Shadow War taught them more about the enemy and more about themselves. Humanity had survived the first attack. Now they were learning to fight back. And in the hidden bases, in tunnels, caves, and asteroid stations, humans whispered to each other, "The Empire has power, but humans have hope. Humans have courage. Humans will not be erased." Operation Alien Extinct had begun, and the silent flame was alive, growing stronger every day.